Good morning, guys. This video will go over some of the practice exercises. More than likely this will be multiple parts, so be sure you watch all of them. You do not have to go through these if you do not want to. You need to at least go through the practice exercises. They start on page 568 of your textbooks and they are in green. So you've already started Publisher. If you have not, please go ahead and do so. You can pause this video while you do that. Remember, you can pause anytime throughout these videos. So on here, what we're going to start with is blank page sizes. And we are going to find letter 8.5 by 11, and it needs to be in portrait. And you can see the difference. Landscape goes left to right, portrait goes up and down. If you think about your school pictures, your individual ones are taken in portrait, up and down. So when you are looking for these, you do have to go through them a little bit and watch closely as to sizes. Otherwise, you can pick the wrong one. Here we're also going to change our color scheme to berry, and we have done that before. And we are going to set our font scheme to casual, and we have already gone through that also. Then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and click on create. So this brings us up to our blank publication right here. We're going to go over to our objects toolbar over here on the very left hand side, and we want a design gallery object. And that's this next to last button down here. If you just hold your mouse on it, it will pull up that little bubble for you. So here you can see here's different accent boxes. We are actually going to go into borders, and we are going to pick the interlocking color object, which is right here. Go ahead and click on it, and then down here in the bottom is insert object. And you can see it already puts it around our document for us. However, we don't like the way it's sitting because you can see it's clear out here, whereas the majority of our document is right in here. We want to make sure we're around what we want specifically, so we can just click and move it around. And you can see how we're doing that with the four-headed arrow. If we decide that this is not the right color scheme we want, we just click on it, go over here to our color schemes, and we'll pick something different. So in this case, we'll go with citrus. You can see how that changed for us. We can also scroll down if we don't like that one, pick something different. It's one of those that really, if you kind of have an idea of what you want to begin with, it works out well. Otherwise, for me personally, it's like, well, I think this will work, and once I put it in here, I don't like it, so I end up changing it. On here, let's say we're done with this task pane, we can close it right here if you so choose. Most people will save it as is or keep the default look like this. So then we're going to go ahead and do a save. You can click right here. However, where this is our first save, make sure you go to File, Save As, go into your documents, find your own folder, and we're going to give it a name. We're going to call it Picnic Flyer. And you guys can see I'm having a hard time typing today. Go ahead and save it then. Okay, now we're going to continue on to page 570. This is part 2 of our picnic flyer. So, excuse me, we can change our view up, which is up here at the top with view, zoom, and right now we just had a specific zoom on there, so we could go whole page. We could also change it to just the page width, so you can see how it's similar to Word in this case. And maybe it's just selected objects, and that's what it is by default. For our case, we're just going to go ahead and use page width. We can we can scroll through just like in Word with your vertical scroll bar here, and then your left and right one down here. I personally like using the whole page view when it comes to Publisher, just because I can see how it's laid out. When I am actually working on something specific, a text box in there, I like to zoom in. F9 is your shortcut key for zooming in and zooming out. So on here, we want to create a text box. There's a couple ways we can do this. You can go to Insert, Text Box, or over here on your Objects toolbar, you have the text box tool right here. Just click on it. No matter which one you choose, your cursor will change to this straight line or this crosshairs. And so what we will do is we're going to create a text box. We're going to start up here at the very top of the margin, and we're going to go clear down through the bottom. You can see it changes the lines to dotted lines all the way around it. We know that's the text box. It does not matter where we are on that. So we can zoom in again, so we can type. This is on page 571. So we're going to type the 2009 Lasker Family Picnic Food, Fun, Swimming. Now we want to go ahead and format this. So this is similar to Word. You highlight it. You have your formatting bar right up here. We want this in 48 point. Just click in there, type in 48, hit enter. We want this bold, Control B, or you can just click up here. And we also want it centered, which the shortcut for center in Word, Publisher, all your Microsoft items is Control E. I will tell you personally, I never remember it. Then down at the bottom with our food, fun, and swimming, we're going to highlight that. We are going to change it to 36 point, make it bold, make it center. Then zoom out, and you can see the difference there. Make sure you go ahead and save it. Control S is your keyboard shortcut. Now, if we want to resize this text box, we have our handles in here, and we can change this. This case, we're just going to drag it up so it doesn't fill the entire page. So we're going to click the center handle and drag it up so swimming is still included. On here, we can add another text box then. I always have a tendency to click out here in the blue space when I go to add another text box. Click your text box tool. Then it's the same thing. Just click and drag it. This case, we want the rest of it, or rest of the document. As you see, we cannot, it's hard to tell what we're typing this view, so we go ahead and zoom in, and we're going to type in Saturday, July 25, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Heron Park. And we're going to go ahead and select that all. Make it italic, and we're going to format it as 28 points. Now once you zoom out, you can see how that difference is set. Go ahead and save it. Now this is for part 3 of the flyer. This is on page 575 of your textbook. As you can tell, it's kind of boring right now. We just have a border on it and our words. But we're going to change some views, we're going to add in some footers, and we'll probably add in a picture or two. So right now, if we want to see the master view, you go up here to View, Master Page. Now whatever we put here on the master page will show up in all documents that are linked to this picnic flyer. So at the bottom, or sorry, if we're done with this, we just have to go back up to View, and we can uncheck that, and it takes us back to our publication page. On here, we can click on our border and make some changes. So if you click one time, the border is selected. Up here at the top, we have arrange and send to master page. And here it shows you with this dialog box that our selection was moved to master page A. And if we want to edit it, we press Control M. What we're going to do is just tell it OK. And now if we would happen to go back to the master page, you can see that the border is on there. So we can go ahead and close it again. We're back to the beginning. Now if we click on the border, we can't do anything because it is on the master page, and that's what this bubble is for. It's one of those hey dummy bubbles that I call them, because usually I forget I have something like that and it's telling me I'm being stupid that I have it taken care of somewhere else. On here now, we want to insert some headers and footers. Unlike Word, we have to go into View here, Header and Footer. And you can see where it puts your header. Headers are at the top. Here we can move it a little bit, not a whole lot. And you see where it is now. This button right here is your switch to footer. So if you click on it, it takes you down there. Just like the header, we can move it a little bit, not a whole lot. This button is your insert page number. So if we have multiple pages, it'll put in page 1, 2, 3, whatever the case is. We have our insert date. You can see it just puts in today's date. Insert time. So you can see I'm doing this at 5:30 tonight on the 21st. We can also type in our name. And if you just hit tab between each one, it'll move it from the front, your left alignment, to center alignment, to your right alignment. If you did happen to click on page numbers, you can see this bubble will tell you insert a number sign to automatically display the correct page number, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, we can go ahead and click on close if we're done with the headers and footers, and you can see it takes away that box. If you want to edit them again, you can either go up to your view or just double click on it and it pulls it up for you, and it doesn't matter if it's header or footer. And you can zoom out and you can see what changes we made that way. One of the last little things that we're going to do on here are pictures. Just like Word, you go to Insert, Picture, and do it from File or Clip Art. From Clip Art, it will find it within the program files. From File is whatever pictures you may have had. So for our purposes, we're going to use from Clip Art. We can search for whatever we need. Here, your book used kite flying. I don't care what you use. Use something that is similar or that would be helpful for a picnic. Just like in Word, you can double click on it and it shows up, or click the arrow, insert, and it shows up there too. Now I'll have my kite in there. Just put your cursor on the middle of the picture, changes to the four-headed arrow. You can move it wherever. If it's with text, you can see your text moves around it however you need to, or however it needs to. You can resize it. We had already talked about the handles. You want to use a corner one, so proportionally resize it. If you would happen to use a middle one, you can see how it looks a little funny going either direction. So if you have questions, make sure you look in your book. That will help you out immensely. If you have not already, make sure you save this, and then we will be working on the meeting flyer starting on page 577. We'll see you guys later.